Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Take Two Chatcast. Today, I am very excited to host Abi Giles-Haigh. Is that
Yeah, that's
correct?
correct. You did it well. Good.
Great. A longtime friend, fellow Oracle ace. And I'm very excited to talk to her because, like I said, I kind of only knew her as like Abby Analytics. But now I think I need to change it to Abby AI, right? She seems to always be learning more, growing more, adding more to her repertoire. Lifelong learner, which I love. And today we're also going to learn a little bit more about what she's excited about for the UKOUG conference. We're going to be meeting up together in Birmingham, November 30th to December 2nd, if any of you are around. So, Abby, what do you hope to learn on site this year?
I think it's gonna be a really interesting conference this year. I think after AI World, I think every session will have the word AI in it. Let's just deal with the elephant in the room. But that's cool. For me, it's about how are people using AI, how they're using the technology. So hearing success stories this year. That's going to be fun. There's always the really cool presenters like Chris Saxon, who just
Right.
takes like really complex SQL and makes it blindingly obvious and easy, and you just think, well, why didn't I ever think of it that way? Which is just brilliant. Like I could quite literally sit in all of Chris's sessions very easily. But then you've got people like Gianni there from the analytics and graph spatial world. So, I love to go and hear about graph and spatial and how that's maturing as a product. I think, especially with AI, generative AI, we then talk about, RAG, and then we talk about knowledge graphs. And therefore, the graph world has come into its own in generative AI. So,
Does Oracle
hearing
already allow for AI chat for on maps? Like,
Yeah, so the graph rag is, it instead of just doing a search and just going all the way down it, you essentially can search it like node to node to node and bounce your way through the data. But yeah, the now you could take any map, you could take any image, any video, and vectorize it for a large language model to search, which is pretty cool
oh,
when you stop and think about it. Like, I look back at some of the presentations I did on OCI Vision when that first came out, and where we are now is just insane kind of
I know. And how
maturity
long
of
ago was that? That must have
that
been
was
what,
only
a
like
few years
what,
ago.
6 years ago, and now we're at this
Crazy.
point where anything could be vectorized into the database. So yeah, I think those two speakers are going to be pretty awesome. It's always great to do the networking events. We catch up with friends, but equally just new ways of seeing things, like additional clients or other speakers, people you don't know that well, catching up how their year's been, what have been their struggles, etc., etc. And it just makes it really interesting and fun. So
Yeah.
I always look forward to that part. Um, and then catch up with Mia after all of these events in a bar and find out how
Baby
Mia
Guinness. Baby
baby
Guinness. You see, I learned a lot of UKOUG. You guys taught me
baby.
Baby Guinness.
Yeah, if
I
no
have
one's had a
not done
baby Guinness, it's Tia Maria and Bailey's put together into a tiny shot, and
that.
Mia likes to have it on an evening. Just so if anyone needs to
And the
buy her a
problem is, it does not taste alcoholic. So Mia likes to have a few and then be like, "What did you guys get me into?" I try to remind you all that I'm 50, right? So just turned 50 this year.
Yeah, I think last year you may have had one too many,
One too
and
many.
enjoyed it. But I think I exited the show a little bit earlier than you because I had a early 8 a.m. meeting. So
Yes,
yeah,
that's
but
true.
no, it is a good conference. It's relaxed, but also a little bit of business in there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
it's a really good way of rounding out the conference season. In my
Right, and
mind,
ending off
it's
the year.
yeah.
So for us, it's really great because all of the Oracle eBusiness Suite product managers are coming. Cliff Goodwin, who's literally the number one for all of eBusiness Suite, will be doing a keynote. Nadia Bendaju, who's like head of all of strategy for eBusiness Suite, Mandan, who's doing all of the ECC stuff. So I'm really happy because all my peeps are going to be there as well so to learn for everybody, as well as the Apex crew. They're doing kind of like an Apex European tour towards the end of the year. They just finished NOAG, and they're going to be there too this year. So it's really impressive that UKOUG got such a great lineup. So hopefully people will be there.
Yeah,
But I've been
absolutely.
very impressed with you because I see that you've been doing a lot of keynotes recently, more and more. So, what would you recommend as an ACE mentor to other people starting out with presenting? Let's hear your list of tips and tricks to the trade here.
Tips and tricks. If it's your first presentation, maybe find a friend who's done it before. If you get stuck or you're struggling, instead of phoning a friend, they can just step in and kind of help in that moment. It's when those really tricky questions come up or the technical question you're not sure about and you're not sure how to handle it. That's when your phone a friend kind of comes in really well and you can kind of hand it over to them. I think my second piece of advice would be find something to present on that you're either super passionate about or like you recently did. So I always say if it's super passionate, like a lot of people know me as the football presenter or soccer analytics. And that's because I'm passionate about it. So I bring to life really complex technical problems, but with football as the heart of it, and it makes it relatable, and people kind of get into the swing of it. And it's because I know the subject, yes, but more importantly, that I'm passionate about it.
Right.
And then the know the subject. If you're doing it on like a customer success story, for example, and you were part of the implementation team, just remember that it's your story. Like you were there in the trenches when it was all going wrong, and you're the one who fixed it and found the problem, and then maybe found the solution, put it all together, and the client, like, there was a really nice success story at the end of it. You were there. Like it doesn't matter what Mia or myself thinks happened or might challenge you. Like you were there in the project. So, own that story and be super confident on what you did, and just present it. Just, go, I never saw that, or something like that, and kind of and just say your story. And that then just
I
kind
would
of
even add to that
mhm,
that a lot of times I hear people saying, no, I don't have anything, I don't have anything as amazing as Abby to say, or I haven't done anything as amazing as Chris to present. Like you could learn from anyone, right? Like people who are in the technical world, especially people in the trenches who are not doing consulting, who are working on everyday problems, who are seeing the same use case in the same industries, things like that. Like everybody has a story to tell, and you would be shocked how many sessions I'm in from end customers where they say things and it jogs ideas and things like that. So a
yeah.
big one is also, to be confident that, people didn't get to where they are by being shy or by thinking that we were worse than other people.
Yeah.
Uh, they have to
I always
just
say
jump
you've
right
got to
in.
be like internally confident, like,
Yeah.
own your story and be confident in it. There's no point in, myself comparing myself to Mia and EBS. Like I know enough, not a lot about EBS. I can maybe tell you what it's an acronym for and kind of maybe a little bit about the database underneath it. But after that, I'd be handing over to someone like Mia. So comparing myself to you would not be good in that space. But if I've done an EBS upgrade in the database level, I could tell that story. Like so, be confident in your bit, um, and then also be comfortable when it's uncomfortable. And what I mean is, people will ask questions that make you a little bit uncomfortable, like you don't know the answer, or they've come up with a solution you didn't even think about. Like just be comfortable in that space and go, yeah, that's a really good idea. Or actually, I didn't see it that way. I'll take that on board and think about it next time. Like,
In
there's
Canada, you
no,
say fake it till you make it,
they
right?
do say
Like
fake it till you
as
make it.
long
Yeah.
as long as you're answering with enough confidence. And
You,
it's also okay to say, you know what, we didn't encounter that, or I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you give me your email and I'll get back to you? I'll
yep.
ask, internally and I'll get back to you. People really value like honesty, and like literally nobody knows everything, right? There's always things that come up that people don't know. And people respect people who are just honest about,
I think
not
that if
knowing everything.
yeah, I think we all respect people who are just more real in their presentations.
Totally.
It's actually the less polished presentations I probably get the most from, because
Right.
it's like it's authentic, it's true, it really did happen. Like, it's not polished and rehearsed. It's them just telling them the story as it happened, and that, like you say, it sparks ideas, it opens up conversation, and it might not be something that like I know particularly well, but like just even having that conversation, it might spark a new idea in their head that they then go off and go, okay, I'm going to go and look into that. And I always
Yeah.
hope that they come back the year after and present on it, because that would be really super cool to see like the full cycle.
That's so funny. So we had that one year where I was doing a presentation on chatbots. Also, how many years ago? And then I went to see a presentation by Maria Colgan, queen of the database. And I was like, wait a minute, wouldn't it be cool? And this was literally 10 years ago. If we could like chat a query to the database. And she's like, it's an amazing idea. We have to meet up on it, whatever. In the end, both of us got so busy. We never ended up collaborating. And she sees me this year at Oracle AI World. And she's like, we would have been millionaires. So,
You would have created the first ever Select AI. So yeah, next time you have a
so she's
great
like,
idea, go with it.
at least you should be proud that you had vision. I'm like, thank you. It's my third time that I suggested that something would happen at Oracle that happened 10 years later and they're billionaires. But yeah, it's okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me on our chat cast. I really look forward to hanging out with you in person, in the flesh. And of course, having more sessions if you want, or thinking of other topics that would be interesting for our watchers, or if you have anyone to suggest. So a lot of times at the end we say, who would you pick on next to do?
I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't pick on Amy Grange from the
Yes.
ACE program. Obviously, we both work at the same company as well, and we're good friends. So I'm going to pick on Amy and say that she's
Yes,
going to come on and
she's
join
on
you.
my hit list already. So yeah, don't worry. But thank you so much for joining us, and everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and hopefully we'll see some of you in Birmingham.